Everybody, I think we can begin, knowing that we will probably have some additional folks join us, but we're very excited today to have a program spotlight presentation for you as part of our Innovation Pathways Technical Assistance event series. And in this program spotlight, we are going to be hearing about the wall-to-wall pathway programming model at Atlantis Charter School in Fall River. Before we dive into the presentations and opportunities for Q&A with our guest presenters, we have just a couple of opening logistics, and I'll try and move through those quite quickly to leave maximum time for the presentation. So I want to remind everybody that our presentation is being recorded today, and we do this so that we can post the recording on our Community of Practice website after the fact. This also means that you have the opportunity to access live closed captioning if you would like to. Look for the red live button and click on the down pointing arrow. Follow the directions, and that will enable you to access closed captioning in real time. Again, while we are settling in, we love to know who is joining us. And you can do that in the chat box by noting where you are coming to us from today. And I think because the weather has been very changeable in my part of the state recently, I've been thinking about the weather forecast in my brain. So what is going on with your brain's weather today? Is it a foggy day? Is it bright and sunny? Are there storms happening in the weather forecast of your mind today? So just pop that into the chat to say hello as we are getting going on our program. If you've attended other events in our series, you are aware that we are a partnership between DESE, Innovation Pathways Initiative, and the Center for Collaborative Education, which is a national impact-driven organization committed to increasing educational equity. And as part of that partnership, I want to introduce the Innovation Pathways team members who are here today. First, from DESE, the Innovation Pathways lead, Jennifer Gwatkin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I actually got caught in a pop-up rain shower when I went across the street to get lunch. So that kind of inspired what I put in the chat as far as my mental status, but appreciate you all being here. And actually from DESE, there's also Raven Jordan. She's a Lee Fellow in the Office for College, Career, and Technical Education. Just wanted to make sure that you all knew that she had joined us.
Yes, hi everyone.
Hi Raven, thank you for joining us. And then I also want to introduce my two colleagues from CCE who are here today providing technological and program support. And Allison and Phoenicia are here. Phoenicia is a new member of the CCE team. Allison, you have probably met before at other events. And if you run into any technical difficulties during the session today, please feel free to pop a message in the chat to Allison or Phoenicia, and they will do their best to help you out. The other introductions that I want to make briefly is an exciting one for us. We want to introduce to you the new cohort of peer ambassadors who will be helping to support us in the Innovation Pathways Technical Assistance events this year. And that includes one-to-one consultation and helping facilitate professional learning communities and other technical assistance events. We recently benefited from Karen and Mike's expertise in our last program. Robert is our presenter today, and Misha and Shireen are also part of that peer ambassador cohort. And I think some of them are here today. If you are here and would like to unmute and say a quick hello, we would love that.
Hi, all, this is Karen. I'm here. Nice to see you all.
Hey, Karen.
Hello, all. Happy to have you all. Hopefully that you guys get something from our spotlight presentation today.
All right, thank you. So getting closer to that presentation, we want to share a goal for today is to provide an opportunity for you to learn about ACS's Academy model, and also how that can apply in your setting, ways that you can build and broaden an innovation pathway supportive culture in your school. And as always, we want to create opportunities for you to build connections across our Innovation Pathways designee network. So to do that, we are going to zip through the rest of our introductions and then leave it in the good hands of Robert and his guest presenters to share about the model at Atlantis Charter School. We'll have some time for open Q&A, so please be thinking about questions that you would like to ask any of our presenters. And then we will offer an opportunity for you to choose a thematic breakout group based on some themes from Robert's presentation. So we'll post those themes later on so that you can spend some time with peers talking about what you're learning that might apply in your setting. And then we'll come back together for our closing. So at this point, I am going to pass the imaginary microphone over to Robert Perry for his presentation. Robert.
So again, guys, thank you for being able to attend today. So we're gonna highlight some of the things that we're doing here at ACS in terms of our IP programming. Along with me today, we have one of our seniors here at ACS, Zoe Ramos, who is a part of our Teaching and Social Services Academy. And then we also have one of our community partners and our Mass Hire partner, Tina Charette, that works with our youth employment specialist at Bristol, Mass Hire Bristol County. So you can move next. So just want to introduce ACS and our pathways. So Atlantis Charter School is a K-12 institution located in Fall River, Mass. And one of the hallmarks of our high school experience is the fact that we have a career school to career academy. And those are all innovation pathway approved programs. So we have the following academies that we offer here at ACS: business and entrepreneurship. We have a STEM academy. We have a arts media academy, teaching and social services, as well as our medical healthcare services. And just a little bit about just to dive in a little bit deeper, our arts media academy is designated under our information designation, and teaching and social services under our social assistance designation, and then STEM mainly focuses on manufacturing. Go next. So just want to talk about some of the transitions that we made or expansions we've made to our career academy in terms of what is required for our IP program, and then how we've kind of turned it on its head and kind of expanded some of the opportunities that we have for our students. So as you know, IP is required to have at least 4 technical courses. And then over the past year or so, we've been able to expand the number of courses that we have here at ACS for IP for our career academy. So we've added 2 additional courses per academy. And with that being said, I'm sorry, I was looking in the chat, I apologize. So with that being said, we were able to add an additional 10 courses under our IP designation for all 5 academies. And then I will get into somewhat of what the action steps were in order to accomplish these goals. Next, we have focusing on MyCap. So as you know, for IP programming, MyCap is a big component of what we're accomplishing through the programming. So with that, we were able to kind of flip the MyCap scope and sequence model and make that a full comprehensive career academy portfolio. So again, taking elements from the MyCap scope and sequence and actually giving tangible evidence or work experiences that would suffice under the MyCap scope and sequences. Next, prior to COVID, we were predominantly our career academies only had, like I said, only had the 4 IP courses that we offered. At that time, again, prior to COVID, we had adjunct teachers that were career academy specific. So we had a STEM teacher that would only teach 3 periods a day. They only taught for the STEM academy. We were able to transition after coming into last year, we were able to transition into acquiring full-time teachers for our pathways. So now all of our teachers now have 3 specialized courses that they teach per semester under IP. And then we also offer some of the IP courses as elective courses. So we took some of the applied courses that we had previously. Example of that would be our anatomy class. We had an anatomy class that was offered under our science core curriculum. We transitioned that course into our career academy under our medical healthcare academy. And now that course has kind of shifted in title, but essentially has the same curriculum, with it being now body systems overview. And that was one of the ways that we were, again, able to add some of the applied courses under our umbrella. Was, again, not reinventing the wheel, but just taking kind of what we already had in place and adding it to the Career Academy umbrella. And then last but not least, I wanted to get into some of our work-based learning components. So as you know, the requirements are 100 hours of work immersion experience, whether that is capstone, internship, or other work-based learning activities. And then as a result of COVID, the last couple of years, internships have been somewhat difficult to onboard for, especially in a school where we're looking for a one-to-one internship. So we've done things we've expanded these opportunities or work-based learning opportunities by incorporating school-based industries. So one of the examples of our school-based industries, we have a podcast, which is called The Senior Show, which is run by students who run all of the technical equipment, do the cutting, editing, all of that type of stuff. We have an ACS print shop with our STEM Manufacturing Academy, where we have students creating figurines, toys, signages, things of that nature, and creating that, whether it's to sell in the school for Christmas, Valentine's Day, homecoming events, other events that are coming up in the school. And something really cool about that with our ACS print shop, all of the money that we receive from the proceeds just goes right back into our academy. So we use all of those funds to acquire more filament to do 3D printing. If we need other tools or other things to create figurines, we use 100% of our proceeds to go back into the materials for our print shop. And then last but not least, another example of one of our school-based industries is in conjunction with Jostens. ACS has completely taken over the responsibility of our yearbook. So our Arts Academy students are responsible for going out, getting information about certain events, taking pictures, conducting interviews, whether it's with teachers, with students, things of that nature, to kind of get information that would suffice for the yearbook. And then also they are responsible for compiling all of that stuff and creating the yearbook at the end of the year. So now I'm going to get into some of the action steps and how we kind of were able to expand some of these opportunities and expand, first and foremost, the number of courses. So again, I talked about applied courses that we had already had, giving you the example of our anatomy course. So again, we took intensive elective courses and we just added them under the academy umbrella. So another example of that, we offered sociology previously as an elective course. And now that course has now transitioned into the Teaching and Social Services Academy and is now sufficed as our Social Service 1 course. And that was where our students are getting into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to be a social worker in different types of interactions, different types of personalities, things of that nature. Another thing, just to touch on portfolios. So I know we talked about some of the MyCap scope and sequence stuff. So each semester, students are responsible to input some of the elements of their portfolio. So again, I want to give an example. I should have put the MyCap scope and sequence as an example. So it will say students will complete a FAFSA, if that's an example. So we will literally have the students have their admissions ticket to FAFSA night. And they put that in there as one of the elements on their portfolio of completing a FAFSA or being college, laughing at me, college foundation ready. So yeah, with the portfolios, we use the portfolios more so now as a result, again, of COVID and not having students having the opportunity to engage in internships on a one-to-one basis. And I think it's worked great over the last year, specifically with those students who have transitioned into the academy coming out of 9th grade. So previously, Career Academy was at ACS was only for 2 years. So it was only for 11th and 12th grade. It is now, with the expansion of adding the 2 courses, is now a 3-year track where students start at the beginning of their 10th grade year, have semesterized courses, grades 10, 11, and 12, and then final semester of their senior year, they would participate in either a capstone project or internship opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good from there. We can go to the next slide. So now I'm going to introduce one of our industry partners, Tina Charette, who is with Mass Hire. She's going to talk about some of the supports that she's given us with connecting with industry partners and some of the connecting activities that we've kind of been able to collaborate on together in order to bring more work-based learning opportunities for our students. And then once Tina kind of gives her her spiel, we're going to have a little testimony from one of our seniors, Zoe Ramos, who's going to talk about her experience with under the Teaching and Social Services Academy, with her working with the High School Heroes program last year with junior achievement, and in her transitioning this year into her senior year, working with the high school educators internship program. So without further ado, Tina.
Thanks, Robert. So yeah, I'm Tina Charette. I am a youth employment specialist for Mass Hire Bristol Career Centers. We have a dedicated youth career center here in Fall River called Youth Connection. I wear a lot of hats for the Career Center. I support employer services. I oversee our Youth Works program. But nearest and dearest to my heart is I oversee our Connecting Activities initiative for the Greater Fall River area. So that makes me kind of a liaison between our area schools, our workforce board, and our community partners and business community. We had some ancillary support services in place for Atlantis prior to Innovation Pathways, but Innovation Pathways really did open up deeper collaboration with Atlantis for us. So Connecting Activities allows us to really provide those career awareness, career development experiences, and support internship opportunities for the Innovation Pathways programs. Robert talked a lot about the need to kind of pivot during the pandemic, as everybody did, as schools were not allowed to send students out or to have big events in the buildings. Traditionally, we'd run like a career day. We got creative. We said, what do we do to ensure that these young people are getting the career awareness that they need? And so we developed a career talk series. And I just kind of reached out to folks that would normally attend my career days. My best piece of advice to you is if you need to engage employers, start with that soft ask. It's easier to ask them to come to a career day or speak to a small group of students than to say, hey, will you take on a bunch of interns? So as a result, you can see our list here. We had an organization called YA. That stands for Youth Experiencing Artistic Hope. They did a couple of presentations, both on entrepreneurship as well as the arts portion. L3 Technology Ocean Server really spoke to our STEM Academy. We had an engineer come out. They're literally in our backyard, and they do some incredible underwater robotics equipment. We had South Coast Youth Court, and I think that actually has turned into some potential internship opportunities for young people. People Incorporated, they are a major social service provider in our area. I know Robertson, it talks with them about expanding into some internship opportunities. We had the Bristol Community College Science Department come out and speak. Skills Library, any of you that are familiar with YouthWorks or Connecting Activities know Jennifer Leonard. She did a great virtual presentation for us. We had a few different people come out from St. Anne's Hospital. In fact, they were one of the industry partners that agreed to support Innovation Pathways programming. The owner of Infinite Fitness, I believe he did a couple of presentations for us, if I'm correct, Robert. So he is not only a business owner, he's a former educator. He is also a best-selling author and a motivational speaker. So phenomenal resource for the young people. We had Rosewood Realty. We had some folks from Bay Coast Bank. So, even though we weren't able to do those big traditional career days, the students got a really much more intensive career awareness by these, weekly presentations. And then as the world started to return to normal and we were able to offer some more internship type experiences, Department of Ed did offer the high school senior educator internship. And if you're not familiar with that, that really is a program that Department of Ed is supporting to really expand the pipeline and the diversification of educators. And so this gave students at Atlantis an opportunity to participate in subsidized internships within their school district. They actually worked with students at the elementary middle school level, which happened to be on that beautiful campus you can see behind Robert.
Oh, I know. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off, but one of the luxuries, again, of ACS being a K through 12 institution is having the middle and elementary level schools at our disposal when it comes to, especially with our Teaching and Social Services Academy, having the autonomy to send our students into opportunities to connect with younger youth, whether it's on a social level, whether it's on a teaching level, wherever it may be. So again, one of the good factors of having a K through 12 institution.
Yes, I see Jennifer just put in the chat the links for the high school senior educator internship program if you want more information on that. We are gearing up for the second semester cycle of that. And then, like I said, we try to support any other community connections that we can help with Atlantis. So things like Junior Achievement and, South Coast Youth Court. And, we share information, scholarship information from the local hospitals and the Make It in Massachusetts events. And I also want to note that when Atlantis was preparing for Innovation Pathways, our workforce board was very instrumental in helping them with providing labor market research based on our local regional blueprint. And we were able to support them helping identify some industry partners. So.
with those industry partners to speak to the Career Talks series specifically. Again, we're trying to find ways to incorporate some type of work-based learning or connecting activities for students, obviously during the pandemic. And that worked out well for us on the back end because a lot of these partners or industry partners are willing to take on interns this year for this year. So an example of that would be South Coast Youth Court has already agreed to take on some interns for us. People's Incorporated has already agreed to 6 to 12. Even though Infinite Fitness did not do an official internship, he did serve as a portfolio ambassador or as a portfolio ambassador for one of our students last year. So we had our students checking in with, I forgot the gentleman's name at Infinite Fitness.
It's Mike.
Mike, yeah. So Mike was one of the mentors for one of our students doing their portfolio. So that was great in that support. And also the gentleman from Rosewood Realty will also served as a mentor for a portfolio for one of our students. So again, the hard ask wasn't an issue. It was more so, can you just kind of see what our program, what we're doing through our programming? Would you mind kind of just speaking to your experience? And then that relationship then flourished into potential internships or mentorship or whatever it may be for students in the future. Coming into the position, again, I came in during the pandemic, which was August of 2020, right in smack in the middle. So I was kind of bumping my head against the wall, trying to find connecting activities, trying to make better connections with industry partners. And again, that's where I feel Mass Hire and Tina Charette has kind of filled that gap for us. And even though it was 2 years out, 2 years later, I feel like we're finally at a point where we can solidify internships at a full-time basis for our students post-pandemic. So again, kudos to Tina and her work and the rest of the people at Mass Hire for being able to connect those activities and connect us with community partners. And now I want to introduce one of our seniors here at ACS, Zoe Ramos. Zoe was a participant last year in our High School Heroes program that was offered through Junior Achievement. And it's simply just a financial literacy program that we offer to K and first grade students, just learning about money management. At a very low level, obviously, students at 6, 7 years old aren't very high in their bankroll, but Zoe was able to participate last year in that High School Heroes program. She went through a training program and then went through the 2-week program as one of the teachers. So I'm going to let her jump on and speak about her experience, and then also just kind of piggybacking on the high school senior educators internship program. We're hoping that Zoe will be participating in this year as long as it's approved by the state. So without further ado, Zoe Ramos.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zoe Ramos. I've actually been at the school since kindergarten, which means for 13 years. First, I'm going to start talking about the Junior Achievement Program and, how that first started, what we first had to do. So basically, first we had to sign up and
please come to the reception office.
first we had to sign up, and they gave us a course about what we were talking about, what we were learning about, what they're expecting from us. So they gave us materials for the lesson plan and the 2 weeks that they gave us materials for. And we basically just put lesson plans together. We were put into groups where we could choose, and we put lesson plans together for little kids. Some of it was talking about saving money and wants and needs, and what's right and wrong with what you use money for and stuff like that. So because they are in kindergarten and first grade, we do have to take it down a little bit. And it was actually really funny to see, that they think they don't need a computer and they don't want that and stuff like that. So that was funny to see. After that, you know, being a part of junior achievement means you have to be flexible, because you never know what's going to happen. You know, I was bounced around in other classrooms, so that's why you have to be, you know, flexible and stuff like that. That happens in life, so that prepared me for that. You know, that was good. I'm also very excited to be, like Mr. Perry said, part of the new internship, because junior achievement was, I mean, it was great and prepared me definitely for this. So now I'm just looking forward to that. To add on to this, my ultimate goal in the future is to, you know, just help people. And I think when I was working with junior achievement, I really found like passion, and it really drew me to that. You know, I didn't think, you know, being with kindergarten and first grade talking about money would be something fun to do. And I just took a leap, and it actually really opened my eyes up to what I want to do in the future. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Yeah. So I know we discussed some of the expansion that we've done in the Career Academy here at ACS. So as you can see here on this slide is just some of the course offerings that we have now. As mentioned before, we went from a 2-year track to a 3-year track. So at the end of each one of these, at the end of each academy, it's not listed, but it is their either internship or portfolio class. So essentially there's 5 classes under each academy umbrella, and then their portfolio/internship experience, which comes the final semester of their senior year.
Okay, thank you so much, Tina and Zoe, even though you're off camera now, thank you. And Robert for introducing us to all the good work happening at ACS. And I think there are probably some questions from the audience. And since we're a relatively small group today, I will invite anyone with a question to unmute and ask your question. Or if you prefer to put a question in the chat, Jennifer is monitoring the chat and will read questions so that our 3 guests could have an opportunity to respond to questions from the audience.
And don't be shy. This is a friendly group.
Yeah, hi, it's Raven. I have a question for Atlantis. My question is, how do you all work to ensure that there's diversity across all of 5 of the academies? For instance, in the past, it's been a lot of women that are in teaching and social services. So how are you helping women be interested in the STEM Academy and business and things like that? And then the same, not just as far as gender goes, but as far as race goes, you know, there are stereotypes, and I think that stereotypes, sometimes there is like a layer of truth in them and sometimes there's not. But, you know, in the medical field, I feel like we see a lot of the same types of people. But, you know, how are we diversifying which students are kind of applying to which academy?
So I can just tell you a little bit about so I didn't mention this, but we have an exploratory model. So freshman year, all 9th graders participate in an exploratory program where they learn some of the basic essentials across all 5 academy curriculums. And then at the end of their freshman year, around April, May, there's a selection process. So with that selection process, it's a three-tiered selection process. It's one, just a short essay talking about their personal experience, what their future goals are, and if they have like any personal connection. Like a personal connection can be as simple as my mom's a nurse, or I work on cars with my uncle on the weekends, anything that connects them to a certain pathway or field. And then last but not least, like kind of the deciding factor is a small recommendation from their 9th grade exploratory teacher that kind of states what they did best, or what content area they probably succeeded best at, or what they feel would be the best pathway for them. So nothing really super intentional with that. We kind of give the students their autonomy to pick. 9 times out of 10, students usually get their first pick on their academy. If they don't get their first pick, it usually comes down to the teacher recommendation, just because that's somebody that's been in the classroom setting with them and kind of has an understanding of like their capacity to digest certain information in whatever pathway it may be. Now, as far as diversity, Fall River is just in its own is just a very diverse town, city. So I don't feel like we have a problem with that. Everybody in ACS participates in a career academy, and that's no matter what, whether you're 504, ELL, IEP, all students in ACS participate in career academy. So as long as you're an ACS student in high school, you will have a career academy. So I think as far as like diversity, it's more so like to the autonomy of the personal student.
Thank you.
No problem. Come on, guys, ask me some questions. I'm ready to answer.
Robert, hi, it's Karen. I have a question.
Yeah.
From this STEM girl, I'm looking at all your other academies, which are cool, and especially your arts and media one and your business academy. And I'd love to know about like certifications for your business academy, if you offer any.
Yeah, so this year, don't have it in front of me right now. So it's funny you said that. So I was just discussing with our business academy teacher, what are some tangible credentialing that we can get for our students. And we just sat down and made a list. I don't have it in front of me, but I can send you, or if you want to shoot me an email, I can send you the website that has a lot of the business and business industry credentials for underclassmen or high school students. I have a full website with that. I'm sorry, I just don't have it on. I just don't have
that's
it.
okay. I'll do that. I know where to find you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, that's been something that's been a goal of ours, specifically, again, coming off of COVID. I hate to beat a dead horse, but coming off of COVID, we wanted to make sure that students were getting some real tangible credentials. So we do have some of those in like our medical academy. We have students are certified in CPR AED, certified in severe trauma. In our social services, we have first aid for youth mental health. Let me see. Arts Academy, the students are Adobe certified. So on all Adobe suites. And then business, the only thing that we had was our QuickBooks, and that's under our accounting course. So that was the one that I can tell you off the top of our head for business. We have QuickBooks. We get our students certified with QuickBooks.
Robert, my name is Dave Moore. I'm from Uxbridge High School. I actually live in Rehoboth, grew up in Dartmouth, so I know the Bristol County region very well.
Okay.
We're trying to expand our internship program as well. We have 5 destinations in the Pathways program here, and our principal was featured on the first slide there, Mike Rubin. My question to you is about internships. How often and how frequent are they allowed to, when they do leave campus? Do they leave campus first? I guess I should ask that.
Yeah, so they are allowed to leave campus. So the way our academies are set up is in our scheduling, we're very intentional with our scheduling. So we intentionally put 10th grade academy is our 5th period class. 6th period is our 11th grade academy, and then our senior academy is last period, allowing our students to leave during that last period to go into their internship Our rule of thumb is we ask them to not exceed more than 3 times a week, but we don't give them a specific day, but they do have to check in with their 7th period teacher, which is their academy teacher. And then we also verify attendance of attendance at their internship. So our rule of thumb here is we don't want them to exceed more than 3 actual internship days. And then we have like the 2 days of portfolio or debriefing time for each student to kind of have in the classroom with their academy teacher.
And I guess my second question would be, and I think you answered it already, is assessing their internship. What type of assessment format do you use?
So we have a debrief tool that we give to our employers, and then we also have a debrief for our students also, highlighting some of the essential soft skills that they're learning. And then we have a kind of like a pre-test of like what you expect to learn, what are things that you feel you're strong at, what are things that you would like to get better at. And then we have a post also with that. Again, this is specifically for internships. So at the end of the internship, we kind of see how they've transitioned if they have it all.
Okay, that's great.
Right. And just to piggyback on what Robert is saying, during the high school ed internships, we did do work-based learning plans for each of those students as well as an additional layer of support. And sorry, got distracted by the chat.
So I can answer that question in the chat. So it's predominantly digital. We use Google Suites for the most part. There are certain elements, if there's things that are tangible that were hard copy, we allow that also, but we do allow both hard copy and digital. Mostly digital though. Again, it's depending on what element that we're kind of talking to or trying to highlight. But we do, for the most part, we'll say digital, but there are some elements that we do allow hard copy.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
This is Jennifer from DESE. Oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt with someone else going to ask a question.
Robert, I might be calling you on the side. I may be coming down to pay you a visit and pick your brain. Only my second.
For internships, so our internships are only semester. So
Yeah.
all of our academy courses are semesterized. And then internships, we do internships specifically only senior year, second semester.
I got you.
And another reason, I'll be honest with you, another reason for kind of expanding the academy course offerings was so that we can expand internships also. So also looking to expand, again, this is a goal of mine for next year, is to expand internships into junior year, second half of junior year also, just because sometimes it doesn't seem like the last 3 months or 2.5 months of school seems like enough time to get a full, robust experience. So again, one of the reasons why I chose to kind of expand the offerings that we had was to open up more time for that work-based learning experiences.
Let's see, thank you.
No problem.
Robert, is Zoe available for a question?
Zoe just took off. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, shoot. I was going to ask her a question.
Maybe I can help. It may be specific to her, but yeah, I'm sorry she took off the.
No worry. I understand. It's a school day. She's got places,
She's like, "Can I
places
leave?"
to
I'm
be.
like,
Yeah.
School's her job for now. I was actually going to ask about her course taking and also just her specific preparation to do the internship. I know she talked about the JA experience, but her sequence of courses that she's taken as part of the academy.
Okay, so Zoe is one of those rare occasions because Zoe, this senior class started in the transition of adding the additional year. So this class as 10th graders, we're still doing an exploratory program. As I mentioned before, we condensed the exploratory program to just 9th grade now. So this is the last class that's going to have only the 4 course track. But with that being said, some of the courses that she did participate in, let me pull it up. So she has social services 1, teaching application, social services application, and then, so she's currently in social services application, and then she'll be doing portfolio / internship for the second half of the year.
Thank you.
I was also going to ask a question about students' choice process, because given that all the students are making that choice, I wondered about how they make the choice and who they might talk to or get advisement and guidance from when choosing their academy. And before you
Combination.
answer that, I just want to mention, I think because of the time and because we are such a small group, rather than spread everybody out into more breakouts, I think it makes sense for us to stay in this room and make sure that anybody who has a question for Robert or Tina gets to ask it. So we won't go to the breakouts. We'll just stay here as a group.
So, I'm sorry, can you say the question again? Oh yeah, I was thrown off. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm curious about maybe you know
The selection process.
the story, yeah, of how students go about making those decisions and who's helping them.
So that's a combination of, again, when I speak about the personal connection, I think that's a combination of friends, family, whatever it may be, whoever is like your main contact in the home, because we do ask them to kind of take a look at their family dynamic, what do their parents do, what is their connection to the pathway that they're choosing, if there is any. And then I would say their main source or contact would be their 9th grade exploratory teacher, who kind of, again, who's in the classroom, who is diving into the curriculum with them, and again, has a better idea of some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses. So yeah, I would say the main people would be parents, family at home, and then secondly would be the 9th grade exploratory advisor.
Robert, we have a good question in the chat about just about the exploratory system. Can you expand on how it works and also piggybacking on that?
So
How do
students
you choose
enter.
who teaches exploratory?
Okay, so our exploratory teacher is also our STEM teacher. So our STEM teacher, Jarrett Booker, was the originator of the exploratory program. So he actually created the curriculum prior to me even taking on the position. So the 9th grade exploratory was his baby. And again, coming in, making some changes, condensing it to the 1 year and then adding the 2 additional advanced courses has been a transition that I think has benefited him, because now he has more time for his own preps for his actual career academy classes. And also I think he has a better understanding of certain skills or complexities that students need in order to be successful in that STEM academy. What was I saying? How does exploratory? So every 9th grade student coming into 9th grade will have a 9th grade exploratory. And it's we teach about roughly 8 weeks of each content. So we'll teach 8 weeks of medical health careers. We'll teach 8 weeks of teaching and social services, 8 weeks of STEM, and that's a year-long course. So even though it's semesterized, it's split up. So they do half of the year with Jarrett Booker, and his main focuses are STEM and healthcare and medical healthcare, and then they switch. So I'm just speaking to this current cohort of freshmen. We have a cohort of four classes. So 2 of the classes are taking first semester with Jarrett Booker, then those 2 classes will switch, and they'll do their second half with one of our new teachers that we just acquired, who is also our teaching and social services academy teacher, Shane Fonseca. So that's how we do it. And Shane's specialties are teaching and social services, business, and arts. When a student at ACS 9th grade, how do they choose their academy? So yeah, it's the 3 components of, depending on the internship, not all are paid, but for the most part, the high school educators program was paid last year. I don't really count High School Heroes as a internship because it was only 2 weeks. That was more like a work-based learning type of experience, less so than an internship, and more like a connecting activity to kind of prep our students for the internship for this year. So yeah, for the most part, we try to immerse our students in paid internships. We also, that's another thing that has been at the top, a priority. In my RFP this year, personally trying to get more money to stipend students for internships for outside entities, so they don't have to feel that burden or feel like they need to come out of pocket to get quality interns, and still have that component where students are excited about going into these internships because they know that they're going to be compensated on the back end. So my kind of role or my goal is to, whether it's through other programming or through my own career academy, is to have 100% stipend internships for the future.
So maybe Robert and Tina, if there are things that you've picked up in the time that you've been working together, maybe a lesson that you've learned, something that looking back you think, oh, that was really a critical moment, and maybe a decision you would make differently if you had it to do over again, or something where you think like, oh, I'm really glad we went, we went that way at a fork in the road. Anything you can kind of close us out with advice that might help out others who are a little bit earlier in the process?
I think something I took away was what Tina said earlier, and I think it really resonates with me now, is because last year, I felt like I was bumping my head against the wall, like trying to find these internships. But I think it's about having a softer ask. So again, would you mind coming speaking to our students? Do you mind if we maybe do like an industry tour at your business? Something that's not as heavy or not as laid out or detailed, something a little less involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you kind of set the stage for your relationship. And then that essentially will broaden the type of ask you can ask. So then it becomes a guest speaker, now becomes, can you be a mentor for this student for a portfolio? And then kind of outlining, oh yeah, you would only have to have a phone call or email interaction 3 times, 4 times this semester. Now they're like, oh, that seems pretty easy. So now that becomes from being a guest speaker to being a mentor to now taking on an intern. But you see how it's a lot like that. It's a smooth transition as opposed to, can you just take on 6 kids for me that you may have to train, you may have to pay, you know what I mean? So again, it's just kind of transitioning how you're collaborating with these entities.
Yeah. How about from you, Tina?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think Robert nailed it when he said you've got to go in with that soft ask. I think it's also an opportunity once you start bringing your business community into support programs in your school and they start buying into what you're doing. I think you're also going to see some business to business networking happening on your behalf. And so like that's just a great opportunity and a great resource for you. And again, I think, students like Zoe, they make it easy, right? You get somebody who's really excited about the work that's being done. She had an amazing experience with this High School Heroes program. She's already aware of the education internship program because her classmates, the upperclassmen did it last year. So she's aware of it. She's looking forward to it. I think looking for those creative ways, if you are really looking at ways to pay students for internships, look at your creative ways to do that. You know, whether it's partnering through a high school ed internship or partnering through a YouthWorks program, or, you know, or being a great, you know, grant writer. You know, there's lots of opportunities out there, but
Yep.
I wouldn't discount the unpaid internships if they have a real value add. So like right now, Robert and I are working with a local physical therapy company who's willing to take on a high school intern unpaid, but it's a really structured internship program that he would normally offer to college students. So
I'm sorry to cut you off,
yeah.
Tina, but I want to make sure that we wrap up, and we're getting very close to the end of our time. If there is something that you're thinking about that's sticking with you and that you're thinking you might want to act on in your school, you could pop that into the chat. While you're doing that, we want to mention some upcoming events. As you know, you can find resources in our toolkit on the Technical Assistance website. We're always adding new stuff. I'm thinking about asking Robert for some of the tools he mentioned today, so we can add those to our toolkit. And then we have some upcoming events already available for registration on the website. Is our December 15th workshop, 9 to 10:30 in the morning, and that will be focused on those who are preparing Part B applications. We'll also be holding office hours on the 11th of January in the morning, again, focused on folks who are going to submit a Part B application. And then we'll have another workshop in the month of January focused on designing innovation pathways for equity. In addition to all of that, with our new peer ambassador cohort, we are going to be rolling out some professional learning community opportunities. Information on those will be coming soon. And I think some of the themes that came up today are likely to also turn up in our professional learning community. So if you have questions or ideas or challenges that you're facing, look for more information on our website to register for professional learning community discussions. And hopefully before you sign off today, you will also take the time to complete our survey. So the link for that survey will show up in the chat. We really value your feedback. We use it to plan our future events and hope that you will take a brief moment to complete that survey and provide us with your thoughts. I want to close out by a huge thank you for the preparation, the time, and the really insightful contributions from Tina and Robert and Zoe on behalf of Atlantis Charter Schools Academies today. It's been amazing to hear from you, and we are really, really grateful that you are part of our community. Thank you. So that is going to wrap up our program for today. We look forward to seeing you at another event soon. Thank you.